Here I am in the great state of Ohio looking for Squatch. It's one of the squatchiest states around, and I'm out here in the winter time because the winter time provides some really unique opportunities for finding evidence about Squatch. Okay, this is pretty fantastic, but I have a whole row of trees behind me. You can look, I'm going to tilt the camera up, and where you can see all the tops of the trees are kind of stripped from bark. And most people don't realize that squatches do go up into the trees, especially in the wintertime, because they know that the snow will cause them to leave tracks, so they go up into the trees. And in the wintertime, they're mostly up in the trees so that they don't leave tracks in the snow. And so you can see where there's bark below and there's not bark above. And it's more than likely because there's been a number of squatches who've been up in the tops of the trees. And kind of like just like with a hunter and a deer stand and stuff, a lot of times you can walk right underneath a squatch in a tree and you won't even know he's there. And so, the truth is that there are a lot of squatches up in trees, especially in the wintertime. And so I think there's lots of evidence where you see that the bark is not up in the top of the trees. I mean, someone's saying, well, it might be the wind or other things that might cause the bark to fall off. But I mean, for that much bark, I mean, come on. I think it's pretty evident that, obviously there's been squatches who have, been up in the trees. Okay, here I am, I'm out in the woods, and I found a set of trails. You might be able to look and see, it's kind of hard to see in the snow and everything. But right here, there is kind of from foot traffic. I can definitely see some boot prints. I can see what looks like maybe a small animal like a fox tracks, and there's some deer tracks here too over there. And so this is kind of like a natural trail. And so you might look at this and think that, oh well, because there's human traffic here, there's not going to be any squatch prints. But that's not true. The reality is that Squatches will often walk on other tracks to disguise their tracks. In fact, it's a well-known fact that in some areas where there's large populations of squatches, you might find one single set of tracks. And the fact is that the entire group of squatches will walk in each other's tracks only to leave one set. So you think that, oh, there's only like one squatch in the area, but the truth is maybe dozens or even more because they're all walking on tracks. So even though this looks like human tracks and deer tracks and things like that, it actually could be a place where the squatches walk through all the time because they're using our footprints to hide theirs. Okay, I'm out here in the woods in the snow time, winter time, and a lot of times people think that, because we mostly think of Squatches with a dark fur, dark brown or blackish or grayish tone, that it would be easy to be able to spot a Squatch in the wintertime. But it's actually a well-known fact that Squatches, just like the Arctic rabbits and foxes, can actually turn their hair, turn their fur into white. As the snow falls, their dark hairs will whiten until they're actually absolutely white, and then they can perfectly blend into the snow, and so become almost impossible to see in the wintertime. Okay, I'm out kind of where the woods kind of turns out into like an open area with like a lot of snow on and everything. And you might not be able to tell in the video, but right up there's kind of a little place where the snow kind of looks like someone had slid down it. And it's also very possible that was where some like young squatches were playing. Because just like human children who like to, go on a slide and slide down a hill in the wintertime, so do the little young Squatches like to do too. And so, being kind of as remote as I am and stuff, it's probably not you know, one probably wasn't a human who did it and stuff. It's more likely it was maybe 2 or 3, you know, young squatches, you know, and it snowed, and so, you know, they push each other down the hill and kind of slide, and it leaves that slide look, you know, like a sled had been there and stuff, or like skis or something like that. But, you know, like I said, this look, you know, the woods are behind me, and this is just a big open area, and so, I mean, obviously no humans did this, and, you know, I mean, I think we can pretty much say for sure now that if we talked about it, that, you know, yeah, this was some young squatches that made the kind of ski-looking slide on the snow. Okay, just came across something very important. See behind me, see this tree with the branches bent over and kind of broken right there. That most likely happened because there was a squatch up in that tree, and the weight, because squatches are big, and so they weigh a whole lot, probably weighed down those branches, bent them over like that. And so this had been a place where maybe a squatch had, you know, climbed up the tree and was holding onto the branches to spend the night in them. And then over the course of the night, the weight just kind of bent down those branches, so we can see the bent branches, even some broken ones right there. And so I think, you know, we should find a place, a kind of, you know, a tree where a squatch had been sleeping or resting or whatever, and his weight kind of broke the branches. Okay, I think this has been a really successful trip here to Ohio. I think that between the tracks and the tree stuff and the things about the squatch, young squatches and everything, I think I've shown lots of evidence of squatch activity, even in the heart of winter, when there's, you know, a couple feet of snow down. You're still going to be able to find evidence of squatches here in Ohio, and so I think this has been a very successful journey and investigation that has once again kind of proven that you can find squatches in Ohio, both in the summer and the winter.